Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Coggins, and we are looking at Discovery again, episode 11, discussion, theorizing, analysis. And Stuart, you have a very specific thing you want to talk about. What is it today?
I do. Well, last time we saw Stamets, sort of, was he had met up with his Mirror Universe self in the Mycelium Network.
Yes. Odd scene. It's a forest of Avatar, but unique, and what's happening. Yeah.
So, and he's like, well, Paul, and they're having this nice friendly discussion. The Mirror Universe Stamets seems like a nice enough guy. I'm sure they've been in touch because we know that, Stamets walked out of the cube or the room and said, Captain to Tilly. So he might have been in this universe. He might have been interacting or just could have been confused, whatever. He could be sharing memory engrams with all the other Stametses from every other reality. We don't know exactly what's going on there. Can the Spore drive, since it can dimensionally jump, can it also jump through time? Is it possible that these Stametses are going to work together to figure out a way to fix the timeline and bring Hugh back, the Doctor? Could it be that they jump back to the Battle of the Binary Stars and stop the war from happening? Because this is a war that everybody said in the Prime Timeline never actually happened, right? So could it be that that's something that they do? Maybe they go back and fix the timeline somehow. I'm just kind of postulating some theories. If you have any, please spit them out. But I think that's what's going to end up happening at some point. I don't know if it's the end of this season or eventually, but I think Paul Stamets is going to... They're going to end up jumping back in time and fixing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, throwing a lot at me there.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I'm less like so many topics. So quick answers that we can discuss. Time travel, interesting. If possible, they could go back, and if Stamets is in his own body, he could stop. Spore drive tech we know isn't a thing in the future. If he knows what happens and then is in his younger body and just makes it mess up, and they discover it's a failure, but they destroyed Takuma's ship before he gives cloaks to everyone, that would alleviate both those canon issues. Because Klingons don't have cloaks at this point. We know they've got them from Takuma. So that would fix two big issues. And no mutineers, same thing. If they stop the war, then she's not a mutineer. Boom, they remove that from their new canon. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think with the way they set up that meeting between the Stametses, I think there's going to be maybe even more of them at some point working together. We haven't seen any glimpses of that. I don't know how... it would be cool to have an episode basically following these guys in there doing their thing, maybe making changes. I don't know how involved they're going to get with it, but I know that with his brain activity the way it is, I think that's other realities kind of seeping into his brain. It's still Stamets' brain, just not that Stamets' brain working together. And I think, wouldn't it be cool if at the end of the series Stamets transcends the physical form and becomes the first Q, becomes an omnipotent being that, because it's possible with the knowledge that he has, the knowledge that he's gained, and the combination of all the Stametses. I think there's a lot of potential there, at least, for really good storytelling, really cool ideas, especially sci-fi based. And I know for Enterprise, because of the whole, temporal Cold War, I thought, okay, they're going to explain a lot of the problems with the timeline that Enterprise kind of threw at us. But they didn't. So I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I'm hoping, because there's so much potential to go back and fix things. I'm praying that it happens. And I want you guys to pray as well. Let's all get on our sci-fi knees and go, please, sci-fi gods, at least Star Trek gods, Q, please make this happen.
Wow. Again, a lot to think about there. Okay, so let's double down to the simplest part of... I'm looking at the picture of the two Stametses. So we can assume that Mirror Stamets is on Mirror Discovery, and we can maybe assume he's also Spore Drive connected. Can we assume he's also in a coma because they both happen to being situations that cause them to both be in a coma situation, to both jump at the same minute, to both go to universes, you know what I mean?
Because of the network, because of the network, they don't have to be at the same time. This could be.
Well, we don't know time is a thing yet.
We don't. But
it's a really cool concept. I mean, if there's a deeper layer of the universe that connects all of space, and multiple spaces, I mean, where else is there to go except, if you can just go to the Delta Quadrant in a few seconds or minutes or hours or days, as Eric Henry would say, he used to say time travel, you just connect into especially if it really is a time travel of yourself, like Quantum Leap. You're just going into bodies. He's going into his own body in a previous point, because if he's now connected to the network, he can go back to when he was first connected to the network, because he's connected, every Stamets of every point. But do you think this mirror Stamets is also in a coma, or do you think he's...
No.
Okay, so...
I think that's too silly and too coincidental. Because of the way the network works, I think it can be any time. They could have had this conversation like months ago as far as Stamets is concerned. But this could be the one of the first jumps that Stamets makes, and he finds this mirror universe, and he sees Tilly as captain, and then when he comes out of the thing, he's like, "Hey, Captain." Oh, sorry,
not there yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't think that they're one for one. The mirror Stamets is unconscious. I'm not even. But this this almost confirms that there's at least the Spore drive in the mirror universe. Well, unless Stamets can just, because he's the one connected to the thing, if he can interact with his other selves, whether they have it or not.
The problem with the way they're doing the mirror universe is it's still a one-for-one symmetry, even though they had events that changed the timeline in the past, as in the Defiant going back and totally changing the timeline, technology and such. And because, one is a galactic federation that works together to fight a Klingon race, one is an empire that's taken over the galaxy and fights rebels. Totally different styles of government, totally different styles of universes. They're not going to at the same time both work on Spore drive technology in both the same way, both build two ships that are brand new, both that look like Discovery, that are not tactical ships, both that go on these missions, both that find a tardigrade, both that kill the chief engineer, armory officer, like, both find a Tyler. Well, obviously the Tyler stuff didn't happen, so whatever happened from Tyler didn't obviously happen. So it's just ridiculous to think they're still parallel.
I know.
And
that's one of the issues I've always had with every mirror universe. You always got the same players on the same ships, but yet there's this way of killing each other all the time.
Well,
who says your ancestor, your dad didn't get murdered, and then you would never have been born. So why is...
We discussed this already a little bit, though. Mirror is the original Prime Mirror universe, and that's where they are parallel to a point.
Yeah.
Okay, a little bit far, but okay, that's the thing. And then they go to an alternate parallel mirror with Enterprise and XO1, all that stuff, and they're also in the same positions, although obviously a bit different, given that Forrester's in command. So they're not identical positions, sort of. Obviously, in DS9, no one's in the same position. So that because of what's happened,
but they
in
still
their
exist.
timeline.
They're still alive. There's no way that you can guarantee that your dad didn't get killed, or your grandfather got killed
that's just
because
luck.
of his position.
That's just luck. That's just luck of the draw.
That's too much luck, in my opinion.
But think, how many people? How many people didn't get born? These were just happened to whatever. There's billions of people, but you're right. Obviously, every chain of person had to live. So none of Cisco's ancestors ever got assassinated, because they were never in chain of command enough to then... and
you have to hook up with the exact same people just knowing my life and my exes, I don't see that happening.
Especially if you're evil.
It seems really sketchy. Exactly.
I mean, just as simple as if every man had to be part of a mirror universe military, you're not going to be on Saturn to meet Jeanette to have your first date. You're going to be in Beta 6 fighting Tellarites. So... same day, different battle, one of love and one of war. So certainly I agree, and I think you can sort of say that with enough time things get closer because of destiny or that rubbish. That's why Enterprise to DS9, like enough time goes Enterprise and TOS to kind of reconverge because enough time has passed. They're big jumps. But whatever Stamets is doing, I like the idea that because the network is connected, right? Every Stamets is a Stamets. That makes sense. What if when one Stamets mycelium's up Or presumably, since parallel universes are just choices, you know, every time you make a new choice, a new universe is created. So there are thousands of mycelium Stametses, a single one where the chief of security didn't throw away her life. There's one where she didn't, and that's still Stamets with mycelium. So there's dozens of hundreds of mycelium Stametses, and most of them don't. But maybe if enough of them are myceliumed, they cross the multiverse, and every Stamets in the multiverse is now connected because enough of them have been, because of the alternate universe theory. And so Mirror Stamets, there's no spore drive tech, whatever. Maybe Stamets was powerful enough to jump both him and Mirror Discovery. Like, you had to swap places because that's just same matter can't exist in the same place that drastically, hence the swap. They haven't explicitly said spore drive. If they have, again, it's a bit silly. And again, I reiterate, if they had a spore tech, Emperor Giorgio would be giving them missions because he got spore drive. You wouldn't be able to
have it on her own ship as well, I think.
Yeah, you wouldn't just be able to sit in a graveyard for 5 days and not do anything. You'd be on a mission. Anyway, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So if every Stamets is spored, then this is Mirror Stamets in the network connecting because different times, different people, different personality. I mean, I'm assuming this is the representation of the network in non-corporeal, like the prophets created a talkable connection point in the wormhole. And maybe he's going to try to help Stamets, other Stamets, and maybe
I think this meeting of them face to face is basically taking place in his mind, and that's why the brain you see on the sickbay monitor is fading in and out, because all of a sudden the white matter is expanding, and that's when he's doing this kind of thing. But it's all in his head, because he's connected to this. So this is just a visual representation for us as to what's going on while he's unconscious. And I think with the network, the way they've kind of described it now, it's not going to just be interdimensionally. I think it is going to be time related as well. I mean, that would be fantastic. And I think there's so many possibilities for that. As usual with Star Trek, time travel's a thing. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that something brilliant happens. And I'm hoping the Doctor comes back. I did like the Doctor. I don't know how they're going to do that. But there's got to be a way. And I think it's going to be time travel. I think they're eventually just going to... That's going to solve... They're going to get the information from the Defiant, how the Defiant crossed over. They're going to try to replicate that somehow. It's not going to work, because we know that it was a difficult kind of one-off thing with the transporters that eventually during Deep Space Nine they kind of figured out.
Well, they haven't even got that tech yet. It was an interspatial rift that made everyone go insane and kill each other. I mean, it's a death sentence.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the Defiant went back. I mean, no one in the crew survived. I mean, it's a death sentence, but Stamets might be able to survive that and say, well, shit, my entire crew died. Probably go back in time to stop this. Nothing went well in this situation.
Yeah.
And so Mirror Stamets is like, I want to get back home, and you don't want to be dead, or your crew to be dead, so let's work together and use the network. And then they find third. It's like the Rick and Morty. Let's find Rick number 7 that knows time travel, because he's already mastered the Spore time travel version. It's like, guys, just cap your heels together and say, I want to go back to this star date. And you go back. It's amazing. Use it every day. It's great. Yeah, I mean, that could be fast. Although I think fans of this show would then say, what was the point then? Why have a season that resets itself?
Bad writing.
Oh, I can see,
because we know that they added episodes to the end of the season, I think based on fan reaction and outburst. So it could be like, oh well, we gotta fix things.
Well, they made their money. I mean, if it's just about money, then you make a season that already made profit before they even released it. Some fans like it, some fans buy Blu-rays, some make their money, reset, try again, make more money. I mean, I think as simply you could just have it go back. But even if you go back to the Binary Star and fix a lot of the things, you still know all the characters better now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're really not resetting. You're losing this weird arc, but it plays out in its own way. The too obvious Vok, the Giorgio dying for silly reasons, all this stuff. Racist Klingons, whatever.
Tyler getting captured. You actually the real Tyler.
The
real Vok would exist as well. That would be very interesting.
That'd be brilliant. Yeah. She meets Tyler randomly, and they still hit it off because he's still. I'm sure the personalities have to be similar, with
And
the Vought clone. Whatever.
and she's a commander or something. And maybe Lorca is from the Mirror Universe, doesn't make it back for some reason,
and he becomes a villain in season 2.
Or because she's the commander, she becomes captain of the Discovery. So Michael Burnham is now the captain of the Discovery, and Lorca either is a bad guy or doesn't exist anymore because he was the Mirror Universe one all along.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting because I think give us this season, reset it, but have all the characters we know, start from the ground up again. But you've set this universe, whatever, and because we don't see Discovery, we can then say, okay, Shinjo is this old ship, and then you get to reset and say, okay, we're moving towards TOS tech because we're not seeing the Discovery, we're seeing the more primer stuff. And then Stamets knows to not let the Spore drive work. Okay, that sort of peters out and dies, but he's got his husband. I mean, that's awesome. Is that not worth it? And then they could start a fresh season with everyone doing better things. I said, yeah, Tyler, bring him in. That'd be perfect. Be good, Tyler. I think everyone likes him. I think that was a really, good acted there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you tell because they hint about the Romulan involvement. But there's been no Romulan involvement beyond we can presume giving cloaking devices. Yeah. I think that's too fan and also too. They probably won't admit their mistake. Or the mistake is conjecture, obviously, subjective. But we'd rather have a show that was closer to the continuity. But that would open up everything. And then you've got this Spore drive that maybe Stamets knows that if he ever needs to do something again, you can then relink to it. Then the tardigrade comes back in season 3 and is like, "Hey guys, oh what happened? Oh, wrong universe."
Or, as I speculated too, the tardigrade might make a reappearance. Maybe the tardigrade comes back and fixes everything because humans are messing with the network, and I don't know.
Mirror tardigrade sends it back. Sure, why not? That would be fine. Anyway, guys, that was a fun discussion about a picture. Literally, I've just been staring at 2 Stametses. But I hope we see more. I hope we see them together. I hope, yeah. Could be anything, and these, a great Avatar forest and a great. Again, this last episode was interesting. There are a lot of potential things. Yeah. And again, a few episodes left, and I mean, it's great to see this part of the season being stronger. Better writing, better direction, better characterizations. They're learning. So it's good to see.
Absolutely. So, guys, what do you think? What are your theories? What do you think? Do you think they could go back and reset the timeline? Do you think it's just the dimensional thing? Let us know your thoughts and what the 2 Stametses are going to be doing in future episodes. I'm really excited for the possibilities, but as I was with Enterprise, and just some of them never panned out, and I'm kind of disappointing. So I don't know where to stand on this, but I want to hear your thoughts for sure.
Yes.
So, and if you liked our discussion, hit the like button.
I liked it. Can I click the like button?
To the channel. You can.
Yeah,
you
I
can,
will.
Actually. Yeah.
I will.
Click it.
And if you want to support what we do, although I don't think I should support us on Patreon because that would be silly. Because I'd lose money in fees. But you guys can support us on Patreon and be part of the Trekyards family by helping us to make this show, all the shows, and continue great discussions on all things Trek. And you guys watch us daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. If you want to support by paying a little bit each and every month, you can on Patreon/Trekyards. If you watch us every day, throw us $1 a day. $30 a month. You're not going to notice it, and can make a massive difference to what we do here. And fan support tells us we should keep going, and we want to keep going. Or a one-time donation at trekyards.com. Press the donate button, give a little bit, whatever you can as a thank you, a tip. We really appreciate those and love getting them semi-regularly. A little bit every month. All goes towards the bank, and we can do cool things with it. So thanks in advance.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Kongs.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.